Well, you made it. It is Friday, and Friday is the Tile Happy Hour. And the Tile Happy Hour is where you landed today. Today is a great day, and we want to welcome you to our conversation. Today, John and I are going to talk about glass tile. But I don't want he and I just to talk. I want everybody to talk. I want us all to contribute, and let's learn a little bit more about tile, glass tile, and anything else that may come up in today's conversation. We got a lot going on. It's been a busy week, but we made it to happy hour. John, welcome. And you see the drink cam, so
yes.
Cheers, John.
Oh, let me get my drink. What are you drinking today?
You're supposed to be ready with your drink on after the intro. Cheers.
What's up? Cheers, Craig. What are you drinking?
Oh, John, we experienced something called COVID, and there was a lot of different people did different things. Well, during COVID, I found a recipe for something called Happy Jack. And so this is my own made Happy Jack. I don't know if it's called a whiskey or what.
Well, tell us more.
It is rough. It is rough. My wife thought she's like, what is all this stuff? And I'm like, I had bottles ordered. I had things in the closet, burping things and off-gassing stuff. And so I think in some circles it's called hooch. I don't know. I know there was a song about it. I don't think it's illegal because I haven't sold any of it, and personally, I don't think anybody would buy it.
So how do you make it?
It is sugar,
all right,
apple juice, yeast, and thyme.
Thyme like THYME or
no,
thyme like
TIME. And I think I threw a couple of cinnamon sticks in it just to try to get it bearable.
You know what? Happy Jack is just Jack Daniels. I'm happy with that.
You're a smarter man than I am. But yes, so today was Happy Jack.
So that's what you're drinking today. I'm doing a little gin and tonic, a little Bombay Sapphire. I was just checking it out. 1761, made in England, a recipe from 1761. It can't beat a gin and tonic. It's good. I like it.
You can't. Gin and tonic's probably one of my favorite cocktails.
What about gin? What kind of gin do you like?
Hendrick's is my favorite gin, but like you and I were talking about earlier, I'm going to try this Four Pillars. One of the other podcasters I follow, that's who they're sponsored by. I figure maybe I'll bring it on here. Maybe they'll sponsor us. We'll take their money. But how's your week been?
It's been extremely successful, but not without a lot of work, which is the life I lead, and it's good. I love this industry. I love today's topic because, I've been in the tile industry my entire life. I mean, literally my entire life. And in the world I came from, in the tile, ceramic, and then porcelain, glass almost didn't really exist. Not that long ago, as far as being in the mainstream. Yeah. And when glass tile came about, I thought it was going to be just a fad. I really did. So I was proved wrong with that, and I'm glad about that. And then it went to the phase where, tile stores were selling it because people were traveling the world and they'd see a hotel room in, Vegas or in Italy, and they see glass and they wanted to use glass. So they started buying glass, and then installers would just be like, you need tile done for your backsplash? That's 20 feet. Okay, I'm going to charge you $250. And then they show up and they're like, what's this stuff?
That's right, yeah.
And typically, like many other things in life, their first experience was a fail installation-wise. But everyone wised up and learned how to do things right, hopefully, and it's evolved. And we're here today with an amazing array of products.
Yeah, well, if I have my history correct, Tile Bar was started as a glass tile importer. Isn't that correct?
Wow, that's a great, So Glass Tile Store was actually the original name of Tile Bar, and the CEO of Tile Bar kind of started off and wanted to visualize the tile website to be like a Zappos, where you can order tile online, you had free shipping at the time, and 365-day return, which we still have at the Tile Bar. And it was glass mosaics, and then it morphed into little bigger tiles and glass, and then ceramics, and then porcelains, and slabs of porcelain, and
now we have everything. Kitchen sinks.
It's really amazing. It really is.
Well, before we get too deep into the weeds, I'm thankful for everybody that's watching out there live. Participate in the conversation. Shoot us a comment. If we can get to you, we will before the show is over. If you're watching this on a replay, hit us up in the comments. Let us know what your questions are, what you found amazing, what questions we answered for you, and just how you are participating in the tile and stone industry today. We want to hear from you. We want to hear where you're watching from today. If throw that in the comments, we'll give you a shout out if we can.
That would be fun. So if you are watching live, or if you're not alive, either way, figure out a way.
That's right.
Have your next of kin post where you are.
Seance.
But we are streaming live on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook, and LinkedIn. So we'd love to know where you're watching from. At minimum, just say, hey, this is where I'm at. If you have a comment or a question, let us know. If the show is already broadcast and this is a replay, shoot us a little hello anyway. Follow the channel too.
Please. Like and subscribe.
Yeah. So, and you will get notified when we go live. So this is our 6th episode of the Tile Happy Hour. Many more episodes to come. We have a lot of exciting things coming up. Some top secret, some not.
That's right.
And right now we're doing the show on Friday at 4:00. Who knows? This may be a midnight on a Wednesday, or it could be
I think we should do every day at 6:30 a.m.
Yeah, not so. Yeah,
I know one of the things we have coming up is coverings, and that's just in a few weeks. And we've been lucky enough to be invited to participate in the podcast booth there. And John, I look forward to seeing you there. We haven't been together in a few months, and we'll be face to face there. And here's some information about coverings. If you don't know anything about coverings is North America's largest display of tile and stone, and it's coming to Orlando April 18th through the 21st. And John, how much does it cost to get in?
It's about $1,000, but with your John Tedisco and Craig Cahoon discount of $1,000, you can get in for free.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So just go to any link and they'll know that you know us, and it'll show up as free, and you can attend coverings. Whatever your investment in time, in travel and hotel is absolutely worth it, because you get to see over 1,000 exhibitors from the industry all over the world.
35 different countries.
Wow, I didn't even know there was 35 countries. Are there?
Yeah, that's what my sheet says. Because I say you see there it says, "Please read."
Please read.
It's part of our contract to be on it. We have to read that. But yeah, if you haven't been there, I'm an installer by trade, and walking the floor is amazing. But they have amazing classes.
And you're a little bit country too.
I'm a little bit country. A lot rock and roll, but the classes are amazing. I know I nerd out when I go, and I try to go to as many as I can, and they're brought to anyone that wants to attend by the major organizations in our industry, the TCNA, the NTCA, CTEF, all those initials are all there, and you don't need to be MIA, because then you could be KIA.
Oh, you lost me. So anyway, I want to say that when people come to our podcast at 1:15 on the first Tuesday, the first day of the show, right? It's at the podcast booth.
Correct.
And we have a collector's item that I heard it's going to be,
Oh, let's see if so these are going to be hot topics here. We got the drink cam, some Tile Happy Hour coasters. This is not easy to do live, but these Tile Happy Hour coasters are here. And we're going to be giving those away. John will sign them for you if you like.
Wow.
One day they're going to be sold on eBay for multiple tens of cents.
Only two per customer.
Only 2 per customer. John, this is a surprise. I hadn't told you about this yet. Right. But I have something else.
Really?
Oh, let me take that off the screen. If you want a coaster, send us an email. We'll send you a coaster. I'll send you a coaster. I'll pay for the posting. Right, but also, somebody sent me this.
All right.
They know that I normally will wear a boggin, pardon the hair, but I got a branded boggin from one of our team members.
That is amazing.
Isn't that cool? Really cool. Shout out to Stephanie who sent me that. She made it herself. She said that she was upset that I was wearing a non-branded boggin, so she sent me this one.
Well, it is interesting because your avatar has a branded boggin, so it's like,
yeah, I did that, but I never now I do have some of these branded boggins, but they are only for our Tile Bar team and their training training bribes. Actually, that's what I bribe our team with for training. So look at us. We've got coasters, we've got a hat. I'm sure Stephanie will make more hats. I'm not sure what they cost, probably $100 each.
Yeah,
I'm going to get an expense from you on that. And we're just making all sorts of waves in the podcast live streaming community.
This has been fun. Episode 6, and you're going to be in for a real treat at our podcast live at Covering. So if you're in town, definitely stop by and say hello.
And Daniela watching from Virginia. I think I said that right. I apologize if I didn't. Daniela, I'm not even going to try the last name, but I love Virginia.
Come on, how hard is that?
What'd you say?
Di Giuseppe. I could barely read it.
Di Giuseppe. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I love it.
Daniela, let me know if I'm wrong. I'm sure I'm not.
Yeah. Thanks for the cueing on the topics. So, John, this week, I know you had a trade show yesterday, so you probably didn't get to your highlights. Well,
the thing is this. The highlights are in my brain. I mean, I've been living and breathing tile and stone and glass, so not a problem. I could wing it. Yeah, we had a trade show yesterday that was to builders and developers, and designers, and architects. It was phenomenal expo, and just so glad to represent Tile Bar there. It was great, and we had Rick Crane from Oceanside Glass, who is a valued vendor of Tile Bar. He the Tile Happy Hour is probably #1 fan. Yes, he's actually up there. And then Jeremy Solomon, who's our executive vice president and the king and supreme ruler of the LVT world. Correct. And he was there. So we had a tag team, the Tile Bar team of 3 at this trade show, and it was phenomenal. It was really, really good. Yeah. Awesome. How was your week?
Man, it's been crazy this week. We're updating a lot of technical information on the website. And, my goal is to provide the most accurate information to not only our clients and customers, but to the tile industry world. So I've worked really hard trying to all these new materials, getting the right installation information out there to the public. So I've been writing a lot this week, and we got some new things coming to our website that is going to be really awesome and a really great benefit for anybody out there that's got a computer that can get on. And
it's important. It's important work, because knowledge is power. And we started off saying where glass tile, one of the biggest issues was when installers didn't know what they were dealing with, or they just assumed it was the same as the last thing they installed. And that leads into our topic, right? We're talking about glass.
Yeah.
And there's different types of glass tile manufacturing processes, and also and then each one can call for its own installation method, or sometimes it's the environment that calls for the installation method, or the substrate, or a combination thereof. So that's what's pretty cool about glass. It's not really
And the
love it because-
technology changes. I mean, you got to think
Yeah.
the setting materials we're using today, no way compare to the setting materials that, I mean, even when I got into the industry in 2000, they were advanced compared to when you got into the industry in
True.
1902.
Yeah.
And so those things are great. But I think we have a product that I've gotten a lot of questions on this week. And this, I told you this earlier, is it's funny we're talking about glass tiles. Seems like every time we come up, we plan our topics, I get questions. And so I got a question about the bespoke. Did I say that right?
Bespoke, yeah, bespoke.
Bespoke glass.
Bespoke is right.
And what was so funny is your highlight this week is about the bespoke.
Yeah, so the bespoke, I guess it's a English term for like custom made or tailored. And
got me.
Yeah, and
I'm Scottish.
Yeah, there you go. Well, so every week both of us do something in public facing, and one of them is my product highlight happy hour, and you do your Friday fails. And today's focus actually happens to be on glass tile. It happens to be the bespoke, which is a artisan or an art glass. We'll explain that later.
Yeah, let's see. Let's take a gander at what you put together.
Hey, it's John Tedisco. I'm here at Tile Bar's video studio, and we have a brand new line from Oceanside Glass, North American glass manufacturer, with some stunning material that's just beautiful. This is art glass, like stained glass. Really, really nice. Made in huge sheets and then cut by water jet and create these beautiful patterns. This pattern is called Lantern. You see this beautiful jewel blue. Gorgeous, nice, subtle variations. Really sexy. A little brighter, a little livelier, like the ocean. Gorgeous, same pattern, just in a different color. Now here's a different pattern called Zest. Now all these patterns come in multiple colors. I'm just showing you a few here. As you see, there's all linear rectangles stacked with different widths. And you can do it vertical or horizontal for two different looks. The same with this herringbone. What's unique about this is a double herringbone. Two pieces put together. Really, really nice. This is from Oceanside Glass. It's in stock at Tile Bar. Check it out. This is John Tedisco. We wish you a happy hour.
John, I love that. That is the type of glass that I remember when I started being very scared of, because it was thin, and some of the stuff early on, and it wasn't Oceanside, because you can answer this question, but later. But Oceanside, when I used it when I was installing, was always paper face mounted. I don't know if that's still true today.
Well, Oceanside glass tile per se, the manufacturer has two different types of glass, and they're totally different except for the glass element, but the way they're made and how they're used are totally different. So Oceanside got into the business making cast glass, so it's kind of pressed into a mold and fired at hot, probably 2,000 degrees. And that type of product has a lot of capabilities, applications, exterior floors in many cases, where the art glass that you're talking about is, even though it's a more expensive material, the art glass, it has no structural benefits, meaning it's not for the floor. It's very thin, but it's what's used in jewelry, used in if you go to Hobby Lobby, right, or some of these stores, you can find like glass that artists use and artisans use, and they can make jewelry. They can make lighting fixtures. You can put it in cabinet doors, and that's what that is. That's the thin, super thin art glass, which most people call stained glass. Okay,
well, see, learning something every day.
Yeah.
Learning something every day.
I want to talk
Daniela liked our pronunciation of her name, and she's not mad at us. But she's glass tile professional, so she's going to have some good information for us. I like the crazy stuff. Please send me those.
Yeah,
the crazy stuff is what I live for. That is how I do my job every day.
Well, we have a lot to talk about with glass, but I'm assuming you happen to stumble across a fail this week.
I did stumble across a fail this week,
Okay.
and I went a little overboard on the video, so I'm just going to apologize ahead of time, because sometimes I late at night I'll wake up in the morning and I have this idea of doing a video.
You know what? I have an idea for a new intro, because last week you had to apologize too, or the week you were in the shower or wherever you were in the tub. I think you should just start the podcast with, "Hey, I'm Craig Cahoon, and I apologize."
I apologize for anything that I say or do.
That I may
and
offend
my
you.
wife, that I know she's watching, I apologize, honey.
What do you mean? I can just paint it?
So send me your best fail videos. You may end up on the show. And I know that's popular. And that's why I was like, man, somebody's going to be mad at me, because I know that all the DIYers out there, if you watch HGTV and anybody anywhere, they're like, just paint your tile. It'll be fine.
That is ridiculous. Every time I see that, I just want to punch the TV. I'm like, what are you doing? It does not stick. And they post it. People are like, amazing. I just saw one the other day. That's the first time I saw that Friday fail. I didn't see it today. And yeah, it's very simple. Just showing that people put the roller on, and it is such a false sense of success, and it looks awesome for a week. And it's so bad.
Well, what is crazy, and we can maybe get into this in another segment, is now there is a procedure and a recommendation from NTCA to tile over tile. So if you don't want to go through the demo process and you have the room, just prep your wall, tile over it. It'll last a lot longer, I promise.
Yeah, I saw someone do a whole floor the other day on somewhere on social media, and they were a white tile, and they were putting black inserts on diamonds and doing stencils. I'm like, this is a waste of time. Everyone's like amazing. Everyone was so happy. But I could top that.
Okay.
I saw something even more cringeworthy than that. People were painting their sofas.
Oh gosh.
No, I swear it's a thing. I just saw a couple videos on it, and like
painting your sofa.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm scrolling thinking everyone's gonna be like pretty upset about it, and they were like, "This is cool. What kind of paint you? Yes, you can do it." I'm like, what? What can go wrong?
Oh gosh. Well, I mean, I guess with enough ingenuity, you can do anything you want.
No, enough. Wait, did you say ingenuity or stupidity?
Ingenuity, yeah. I mean, who wants to sit on a painted couch? That's got to be terribly crunchy.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. I'm just thinking on a hot August day, and the AC's not on yet.
Yeah, that may be bad too. I don't know.
Well, you talked about the art glass, and
yeah. So
there's art glass, and there's kind of a cast glass. There's in general, two types of material. Then there's hot, and within that there's hot glass, and there's cold glass, and there's warm glass. Also,
I only install hot glass.
Yeah,
hot glass is what I install.
Exactly.
I'm a hot installer.
That's in your advertising, right? Hot glass only.
Hot glass by hot installer. Yes.
But the cast glass is fired at 2,000 degrees. It's in a mold. It's more structural. It's usually like a mosaic would be a 1/4 inch thick, as opposed to the art glass, which is about 3 millimeters, probably. What is that? A third of I'm not sure, but yeah, it's really super thin. The art glass, and you can't stand on it. You can snap it with your fingers.
Well, tell me this: are there? I think about uses when I think about different types of materials. So you have these different types of glass. Can you use all of them everywhere? Are they all good for everything? I mean, in the bottom of a pool, or
no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. So, the manufacturers do have certain manufacturers, even though sometimes some make the same type of material, don't do it as well as others. But we can just paint a broad stroke, pardon the pun. If you're doing art glass, for sure, is never good for outdoors, never good for floors, and maybe not good for steam showers, but it's absolutely beautiful as a feature wall on your walls and your backsplash. Okay. That's fine. But a cast glass. Now, have you ever seen glass patty?
I've seen peppermint patty.
No. So
No.
I have a treat for you here.
Oh,
So-
right. I love show and tell. We should do this every week. That's the inside of your microwave.
So right,
That's what it looks like. Is that not? Am I not right?
you were wrong.
Oh,
So the new intro to our show, instead of saying you apologize to having Craig Cahoon and I am wrong. So
Okay.
it's just
gotcha.
first step of admitting you have a problem is just
Yes.
is admitting it. So this is a patty. So picture a mold that's shaped like this
Okay.
and like a waffle iron kind of, and hot glass is poured into the mold. And if you see the outside parts here, they're not full tiles, but this is obviously like a 3/4 inch mosaic
Yeah.
in the baby stages. And literally they snap these off. So there's actually a groove on both sides. This
Okay.
particular series. So when you snap it off, the rough, there's like a little bit of a rough part, but it's in the middle of the tile. So if you picture Lego My Ego, right? That's exactly like that. So picture two Egos, and when you break them apart, the middle is a little rough.
Yeah.
The
But the middle is
looks
the best
good.
part.
You're right. I don't mean the middle, but the edge in the middle. It's like so.
Yeah.
So that's what this is in this particular series. There's another series.
Now, did you? I didn't hear you say it. How do they make it square? Is it cut
okay.
or is it snapped?
It's snapped. So once this is made, this comes out of the kiln, and it cools down, which takes well, in this case, this was annealed. I'll tell you about that, but it takes about 5 hours to cool down.
Got a
But
shout out. It is the inside of your microwave, confirmed by Daniela.
real okay. So all right, I'm gonna switch.
Okay.
I'll switch back to this one. So now there's so much to talk about. So this outside stuff looks like a lot of waste, but since it's glass,
Just
It
recycle it.
recycle, so they melt it back down.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. That is
so-
a great thing about glass is it is 100% recyclable, and it just keeps going through the process.
So now what you can't see here, this side is smooth. and
Okay,
this
yeah.
side has like the grout lines. And this is a different series of tile. So when you snap it, it doesn't break evenly on the face side, and it results in a little bit of more of a rustic look. And I'll show you what that is.
Okay.
So this tile here in Manhattan, there's a restaurant called Rosa Mexicano, and they have a wall that mimics a cliff in Mexico where people dive off the cliffs, and it's this huge wall. They spent like $500,000 on this wall, and it's adorned with this exact tile. This was actually my submittal sample from years ago.
Okay.
And the face of this tile is slightly irregular.
Yeah, I see that.
at the
And I'm
joint-
assuming that has to do with the face of the press or
Well, no, because when you
the die.
so it picture the waffle iron with only one side having the grooves and the other side is smooth. So when
Okay.
you snap it, this face, one side that doesn't have the groove, it breaks a little irregularly, and it gives you this irregular grout edge. It's intentional.
Yeah.
It's
And
intentional.
yes. And
And-
that's done a lot in the tile now. It's the rustic look and giving you that. Now tell me the difference. You mentioned a big word that I don't understand. I thought you not incontinence, and so it was something else.
It was called
I
annealed.
apologize again, anybody.
Annealed. So cast glass, when it comes out of the kiln,
Okay.
it's in a factory, and the air temperature of the factory, even though it's very hot, it's nothing like inside the kiln. So when it comes out of the kiln, it's very cold as far as the glass is concerned, and automatically heat gets trapped inside the tile.
Okay.
And it's called latent, L-A-T-E-N-T, latent stress. So there's stress inside the tile. So a lot of tile that we carry is not annealed. It's just regular glass, and there's so much glass in the market that's not annealed. But some companies anneal their glass, and it's a kiln, but it's like a reverse kiln. When it's done firing, it goes through another kiln, and it's like it's the length of a football field, and literally it it brings the temperature down slowly in stages, 2000, 1800. When the time it gets, so it allows it could cool down, not
it's like a controlled cool down.
Controlled cool down,
which I'm assuming is less stressful than just like when you take a hot something out of your microwave that's been in there and you put it directly under cold water, it could shatter. I'm assuming that's similar.
It's similar to that. So it's latent. So a glass tile that's been annealed is missing. It's absent of stress inside the tile, and the stress inside the tile is fine. But if you happen to be like in a freeze thaw scenario, it could be better to have an annealed tile, or it's advantageous. Not all pool tile is annealed, but so if you take a tile that's annealed and you like tap it with a little hammer, it won't. Let me rephrase it. If you take a tile that's not annealed, it's more likely to like shatter or break on you.
Like tempered, sort of.
Yeah, it's in the same realm of technology as tempered and not tempered. So yeah. So
and when you purchase glass tile, John, I'm asking you a lot of questions. I'm sorry. Yeah. When you purchase glass tile, is that like written on the package? How do you know if it is or not?
It's usually not annealed, but certain manufacturers and certain series. So Oceanside's cast glass products are all annealed.
Okay.
Their art glass I don't think art glass can be annealed. That's just a different animal, even though it's glass. So you could tell, if something is like rated for floor use glass, then it's a good chance it's annealed.
Okay. I didn't realize they had glass that was floor rated until today.
This is absolutely floor rated, this tile.
See, I guess probably I've seen that tile before, and I would have just said it was maybe not thought it was a pure glass tile. It was something that looked like glass.
Well, there's another thing to talk about. Do you see the little iridescence going on?
Yeah.
That iridescence here, you don't see it as much on this side. You see it on this side.
Right.
When a glass tile comes out of the kiln, there's a choice. You can then spray on this, like, while the glass is hot, spray on this coating of this iridescence, and it fuses and becomes part of the glass. But it gives it that iridescence. So the iridescence is on the surface only. It's not like it's through and through. It lasts. It's not that it scratches off.
Right.
But the iridized tile is a topical. I wouldn't want to say topical. It's not, because it gets to be fused with the product.
It's kind of like a glaze on a ceramic tile.
Exactly.
Well, I was doing some research today. How much? What do you think the sales in the U.S. for glass? You have an idea of what that would be?
Well, $92 million from my sales. I'm not sure what else everyone else is doing.
We got to take you out of the picture.
Yeah, I have no clue. I really don't.
I was surprised. $3.7 billion.
Wow.
And that's kind of the market value of that part of the market. And what was interesting is, as I read about it, is I haven't, being kind of a commercial contractor, we don't deal in glass a ton, just accents like this. I would have thought it was declining, but the predictions are by 2028, it'll be almost $6 billion.
Well, do you know where a lot of that growth is?
Yes, I do.
Really?
Looking at it worldwide, North America and Asia are the fastest growing in glass tile.
Okay.
What I thought was interesting about that, and I'd like your opinion on it, Europe was not. So I'm wondering, has it cooled off in Europe? Is it not as popular in Europe? Or are they just like done with it?
Well, I mean, Romans made mosaics with glass, so they kind of, this is old school to them. So, everything comes around. I think in the United States and some Asian countries, they really have been committed to producing glass tiles. So I think it's the availability, and in Italy and Spain, although
like an old hat.
Yeah, well, there are glass manufacturers in Italy, but some of the manufacturers that produce in Italy also have factory in India and things like that. It's all the same technology. But but I just think that I don't know what I think. I really don't know. I don't
Okay.
know.
Well, if you don't know what you think, I don't
Yeah.
know who knows
Yeah.
what you think.
No, but
Well,
you know
tell
where
me,
we're using glass more is also outdoors with a high quality product. In
got
pool.
you.
What I mean outdoors is water features, spas, water lines, pool cavities.
That's where I feel like I've seen glass the most is water features. I mean that was the first. I mean, the first pool I did was 100% glass pool.
Right. Well, and why? Because it doesn't need to be sealed. It was fired at 2,000 degrees, so the heat's not
Yep.
going to affect it. If it's a high quality product, you don't have to worry about the freeze thaw and any instability.
Yep.
So, and a lot of time people think of glass as blue, like a cobalt blue, like I just showed you.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of times those blues you can't get really nice in ceramics or porcelain, so you can accomplish many colors in glass. But
Yeah.
and pools, you're usually thinking of pool green or blue,
Mhm.
so you can do a lot of nice colors in glass. And when the sun hits it, it's really.
That iridescent glass in the sun in a pool, it's hard to get a better look.
I wish we had some pictures we could show people. but
I've got
I don't
some
know.
pictures.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, let's talk about the design. And speaking of pools, this is your house.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd like to thank Rick for sending some of that stuff, some of this data this way.
Well, look at this. He stole my line here. It doesn't need to be sealed. But
Yep.
what's going on here?
You were saying that, and I was like, "Gosh, he's going to steal my thunder on my slide."
Can you back up a slide? If that first slide.
This is the first slide. It started on the second slide.
Oh, okay.
But if you want to look at the second slide was, I'm guessing this is that cast material.
Well, yes, and something really interesting about cast glass is versus art glass. Art glass, you cannot bend it. You cannot make trim pieces.
Okay. Yeah. It's so thin. I mean, it's brittle.
You can't bend. Well, you can't even do it. It doesn't exist. So you need a little close up here. But check this out. If you see a trim that is curved, then it has to be cast glass because they actually could bend. So if you see something that's curved, and if you're doing a spa and you want a base, a coping, you need to use a really high quality manufacturer that can make matching trim, and there are very few companies that do that.
I got word from an Italian that it still sells very well in Italy.
Oh, that's good to hear. That's really good. So cast glass being used on a pool deck and interior. So it is horizontal there, right? Look at that. It's I didn't even notice the deck outside where it says the markers. So I'm focusing on the blue in the pool and the water.
That's right. That's what I was looking at too. But then I was like the pool deck, and normally, I mean, traditionally commercial construction, that's going to be a porcelain mosaic. And, I can't tell you how many square feet of Dow tile unglazed 2x2 mosaics I have put in the world. And, that was the go-to. I didn't realize that we had this option. And
if you look at that tile on the outside, if I'm not mistaken, that's a Moroccan blend, the name of the color. I'm not sure, but
I'm not from Morocco, so I don't know. But
it is, so it is all glass there. It's really I'm just noticing all that now. Really cool.
Here I think is your this is cast glass.
Well,
also.
Okay, so I know why you said that. This look you only could accomplish with art glass until this line. This specific line is a new line, and it mimics art glass because it has a blend of glass and a blend of colors. It looks like art glass, but it performs like cast glass. And do you know why it performs like cast glass?
Because it is cast glass? I don't know.
That's the answer. And as you said, it is class. Yeah, but I caught that.
Well, look at me. I'm learning.
I think that hat's too tight. So
it actually is really snug, Stephanie. Thank you. Well, Stephanie, I appreciate it.
Wow, I had no idea what slides you were bringing up, and guess what I have here? I have that exact tile in a different
Look
color.
at that. Well, my picture looks better than your crappy camera.
There you
So,
go. Yeah.
Now bronze glass is, I mean, I've seen stuff like this, which I don't know if you remember back in the day, Quest Tech.
Quest Tech, yeah, but they had,
Quest Tech.
but there was it was a polymer that was like
It was a polymer, but it had the same look to it, and that's what I thought of when I saw this come across.
Well, yeah, so people
the
want metal
interweb.
tile, and Quest Tech was pretty much the fanciest plastic tile you could find, and it was cool, but it didn't have any mechanical properties that were good. But if you did
Right.
a backsplash, it was fine. And then weren't they bought out by? I think someone took them on and crossed.
I think so. I don't know that they're in business as Quest Tech any longer, but I'm not sure. Who
So
they
this
run.
says bronze. That's just the name of the color. It's not bronze,
Okay.
but that's kind of like an iridized that glass. That color is accomplished with that last step that I talked about. That's kind of sprayed on.
the spray
and that's
on
how you
and then
get
the yeah.
and it's fired. It's right. Okay, so here, bespoke. Bespoke looks like that other line that has the marbleized. This is literally glass mixed together. This is very artisan, and this is one
like
color.
a milkshake.
Yeah, and it is one color, or more like what's the ice cream that where you mix the Cold Stone, the way you mix it.
Yeah.
Picture that. Now, so the ribbon. So when this is produced, it's produced as a sheet. Picture like a sheet of. There it is. Yeah. Well, that picture on that has the note on there that says face or top, whatever that says. That's a 2 foot by 4 foot piece. That was cut from a larger piece. When it comes out of the kiln, it comes
100
out
yards long.
It's yes. Oh shit! It says it on the bottom. Damn.
You thought I was smart, didn't you? Yeah, no, it was
I was surprised. I was so focused on the picture, I didn't see that. Yeah, it's 100. So the kiln is not 100 yards. Like the kiln, the conveyor belt, let's say that goes through the kiln. Once it gets out of the kiln, it's 100 yards, which is the size of what in a sporting.
100 yards is a football field.
This is correct. So picture a football field with one piece of glass, and then they cut it into. Yeah. Oh, they got a piece of it. Yeah, that is cool.
Oh, let me turn it around the other way so you don't see the tag. But yeah.
Yeah. That is really cool. So you can see it's 3 millimeters thick. It's about a third of an inch. So it's pretty. I'm sorry, an eighth of an inch thick, not a third.
Yeah.
The eighth of an inch, and yeah, that's pretty cool. So that particular factory, what they do is they cut that big 100-yard length piece of glass into 2 foot by 4 foot blanks, and those aren't sold typically. They're not sold as tiles that big.
Yeah.
That's just for handling, or if you're selling it to an art glass. There's a designer artist, well known in New York, Allison Eden, and she makes custom mosaics. So
shout out.
She's a type of person that would utilize, blanks like that and cut them in her shop and take it to the next step in her studio. So that's how people make all these art glass tiles. So you see that double herringbone pattern that I talked about in my
they're
product
pretty
happy hour.
cool. I love that.
Yeah, and then that really mod-looking mosaic up top, which is really cool. And in that mosaic, it's hard to see. Some of that is like almost like silver, like gold leaf or silver leaf. That inner part, really super cool, super mod. Really, really nice mosaic tile. That is.
Well,
really nice.
I tell you, there's so many different colors and things. But if we don't hurry up, we're not going to get into my part. Not my part of the show, but the part I want to talk about the most is the pain and the cost of installation.
Wah, wah.
I don't
Downer.
want, and this is not. I don't want to rain on the parade because I think in the industry there are some pitfalls that you can fall into, and I want to be here to say that if you know them ahead of time and you address them ahead of time, they don't have to be. You can have a successful installation. You don't have to be scared when you read a spec that says glass tile. And
what do you need to do? What's the number one thing you need to do?
The number one thing you need to do is have a qualified installer install it.
Exactly.
That's the key. And I would say for all those out there that are DIY, there's nothing wrong with trying it, but do your research, because it is unique. The material, as you've seen, it's beautiful, it's unique, and it's expensive. So when you mess up, it hurts.
Yeah.
And I will say, John, back in the day, in the early 2000s, there were a lot of quality installers, not installers, quality manufacturers, Oceanside being one of them, Bazatza, and there was a bunch of them out there. But there was coming on the market were some of these less expensive and cheaper made materials that had the look, but they didn't have the quality. And
so there's less forgiveness, right? You need it, like it was less leeway. Yeah.
The worst part was the mounting structures would fall apart, and the glues that they were using to hold the glass on the sheet, you get it wet and they'd fall apart. That's why and I still suggest it today, even though I'm learning that I may not be 100% right. I love paper face mounted glass, because glass tile, especially when you have 3/4 by 3/4, or I mean, they even make them smaller than that. What are 5/8 by 5/8 tiles? You have to have mortar contact with that tile, and it has to be, in my opinion, 100%. And the only way to get it is to have a paper face mounted material.
In demanding environments, right? The backsplash, does it matter?
Backsplash is not that critical. But if you're going to put a pool in, my suggestion is a paper face or a face mounted. Now they make the plastic mounted, and that technology has gotten a lot better over the last few years. I remember back in the day, you get some of that plastic mounted glass, you get it installed, and you come to pull the plastic off the next day, it's stuck, so it pulls your. That's why the paper works so well.
Bespoke is clear film. Bespoke is clear film.
Yeah.
And then other products are paper face mounted.
Yeah.
And they did add something really cool here, which was not originally there.
Yes. Well, and the reason it's there, and believe it or not, I've gotten these questions in the last month. People will install it backwards. And I got, actually 2 days ago, I got the question from one. I'm not going to say who it's from, because they should have known the answer. Is the paper keeps coming off when I put it in the mortar.
Oh,
and I was like, yeah, it does.
Yeah.
So it has been installed upside down and back, upside down or wrong side out. I don't know which one.
Wrong side. Wrong
side out.
Yeah.
Many times. And that's just that inexperience. Do your research.
So do you use organic adhesive like D2001 glue out of a can for glass?
I don't like it. If it suggests it, and I don't know what D2000 is. I know, what is it? Type 2 mastic.
Yeah, type 2 mastic, right?
I mean, a type 2 mastic, I think will stick to it. It's a chemical bond. You're going with a chemical bond.
Yeah.
And for a backsplash, I probably wouldn't think twice about it and install it.
Right.
But I like mortars, and the mortars today are super uber sticky. And they work well with glass. The great thing about mortars, and especially if you have a clear glass, you can tint your mortar to match your grout. So therefore, you've got a consistent palette that looks good all the way.
So
there's
when you
a
say
lot of
mortar,
tips and tricks.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you have. But when you say mortar, what's underlying in all mortar, and what's underlying in all organic adhesive? What's the two different materials? So organic material, no, but I mean like the substance. Mortar is cementitious, right? It's
correct.
Where a glue out of a can, it's like a paste. There's no cement in there, is there?
There's no cement. It's just a mixture of chemicals. Latex being one of them,
right?
And it's organic based, which back in the day used to be a mold inhibitor. Now they have mold repellents and all sorts of stuff that jazz that stuff up. But I love mortars. I think yes, they're not as easy. but they're less expensive than
Why are
glues.
they not as like? What's the experience? What's the experience difference when you're using a mortar? I know they're different mortars, and you mentioned stickiness.
Yeah,
but
I think the difference in the mortar, difference from mortar than glue is it's a lot easier to open up a bucket of glue, get your trowel, and go. A mortar, you've got to measure water, you've got to mix it correctly, you've got to time it, and if you don't know what you're doing, you can mess up, a $35 bag of mortar because you left it in the bucket too long. So there's a lot of, if you don't know what you're doing and you haven't done your research, there's some
Right.
pitfalls you can run into that cause the pain.
Now, what about from mortar A to mortar B to mortar C? There's different mortars.
Yeah, it's really just like going from just a car. You got a Honda and you've got your Bentley, and all of them will get you from point A to point B, but the Bentley's got a lot more bells and whistles. Same
Right.
thing with your mortars. Your inexpensive $7 bag of mortar you get from Home Depot or Lowe's has a lot less chemicals. And when I say chemicals, I mean sticky stuff.
Right.
Sticky stuff. But when you see that bag next to it that's $32, you're like, there can't be much difference. There's a lot of difference.
Right.
There's a lot of difference. We talk about it all the time in our training sessions. There's the difference in the margin. You can mess up very little with a cheap mortar and it still be okay. You can mess up a lot more with a more expensive mortar and still be okay, but you can't do the opposite.
Good point. Yeah. So like I used the word forgiving before, right? It's a little forgiving, right? And so what is the experience of using a high quality? Do they have mortars that are like actually say for glass tile? Like
Absolutely.
yeah.
And a lot of those mortars are tenable. So, the big
cool.
thing about glass is it's incandescent. No, that's not right. Translucent. It's
translucent.
It's
It can be
translucent.
Not all of it, right?
Not
Some
all of
it's
it's translucent,
opaque.
but some of it is. So therefore, if you don't set it correctly, you can see what's going on behind it, which as installers get better at the process, that's not as big of a deal. But when you have a really thin tile, it's really easy for your mortar to push into your grout joints.
Oh, that's another issue.
And then when the mortar pushes into your grout joints,
There's no room for grout.
there's no room for grout, and then you're trying to clean it out with a razor knife on a really thin
Yeah.
tile. You got to. So now they make mortars that you can have the exact same color and texture as your grout.
Oh, that's wild.
So that therefore you get rid of that danger of being a little bit sloppy and having to mess up your installation because you're trying to dig out thin set
Wow.
in between your things. So
What's also interesting about the setting material world, the mortars cure with air, right?
correct.
They're exposed to air. I guess there's some chemical, things going on also. But glass, since it has no porosity,
Mhm.
it doesn't. It takes a lot longer for air to get to the bed. So before you talked about the organic adhesives, the glues, I've seen jobs where like never dry because it never got any air to dry and
Yeah.
it stays like moist and slimy, where a thin set will cure with some time.
Yeah.
Do they have
Yeah,
thin
you
sets
run
that
the
dry
risk. I'm sorry. What was
quick?
that?
Do they have thin sets that dry quicker than others?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have rapid setting thin sets that can dry, be hard and stable within 30 to 45 minutes. But we had that problem a lot when these porcelain tiles got so big because they don't let water come through them either, the water vapor.
Right.
And then what doubly on the commercial side adds to that is you waterproof a lot of stuff or put a liquid applied crack isolation, which doesn't allow water through it. So you've got a sandwiched
Oh wow! I didn't think of
mortar
that.
between there, and
You're
I've
paying
seen
extra for no moisture coming through, but
there's no moisture moving. It's only coming out the grout joints. And what do designers want?
no
Very
grout.
small grout joints. So you
Yeah.
had very little vapor being able to move through the system, which does cure
Right.
mortar.
But I think the moral of the story is get the right installer who's going to use the right product because it exists.
Correct. Yep. Do your research, get the right stuff. And because yes, it's expensive to put in, it's expensive to purchase, it's expensive to install,
Right.
but it's 3 to 4 times more expensive to replace it.
But it's 10 times sexier than tile sometimes. So
It
Yeah.
it is some I do love glass tile, and I wish you'd invite me over to your pool.
Do we have any other pictures going on there?
No, that's it. I was just gonna say I
right,
wish
pretty
we
good.
could have. I'll bring the hooch,
Look at that.
and
Look at
we
that.
can sit there and we'll do a live stream from those chairs there.
Nice. Oh, so wait, go back to that for a second. So that's like a sunning deck. That's like a new, I don't know if it's a new thing, but it's a thing. So you
Yeah.
have a pool on the far end, which is deep, but this is like, appears to be shallow. Yeah. that's
So we
pretty
can be
cool.
like seals. You know how seals kind of just.
No, I didn't know that.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And what do you think that decking is?
It's glass. That decking is probably
Yeah.
paver tiles, porcelain. It looks like
Porcelain.
porcelain. It doesn't look. I would say 10 years ago it would be stone, but stone has a lot more variant than that. I would say that's porcelain.
Yeah. I'm going to vote that it's stone.
Okay.
I'm going to vote that you're wrong again.
You may be. I mean, I may be wrong. I've been wrong before, and I will be wrong again.
It sounds like a song. Is that a Billy Joel song or something?
I think it's no. I don't think so. But I can write that song. It'll be
All
good.
right. This is
Well, John,
good.
I've enjoyed the conversation about
Yeah, this
glass
is good.
tile. I thought it was amazing.
Yeah, I think it's all about knowledge. It's all about learning. And we love the industry and we love the products. And we look at this 1 hour and 2 seconds. This is amazing. I thought we just started this show.
I
So,
know.
Well, I think this is really cool. I'm glad that we got together on this Friday, our 6th episode of the Tile Happy Hour. We have more episodes coming up, and we're really excited to see everyone at Coverings. If you're there, please.
Yeah, we got some
stop by.
stuff. We got some neat stuff that hopefully in the next couple of weeks we can announce that may be happening at Coverings.
Yes. Yeah.
But regardless, you will see us there. We may we'll try to control the crowds to get John's autograph. But if you do say, hey, tell us what you want us to talk about. We'd love to let you buy us a drink. I mean, I think all those things are good.
Wow.
But I think in the meantime, you need to be following us. You need to be following us on one of our channels, commenting, giving us some feedback, and just staying engaged and involved in the tile industry and the tile industry news.
Yeah. So on YouTube specifically, if you go to @Tile the World or you go to the Tile channel, you'll be able to see our individual YouTube channels, and you can, if you subscribe, then the benefit of that is you'll get notified when a live broadcast is scheduled. You'll get notified when it goes live, and it really an honor to have you guys here. Whoever's watching this, it's been fun. We're looking forward to our next episode, and if you have any comments or questions, please post it. If you're looking for one of our brand new coasters, please let us know. So this is John Tedisco, and I'd like to wish you peace, health, and happiness.
Yep. And if you want a beanie, I'm sure send me an email. I'm sure Stephanie will make you one. It's been fun. It's been great. Remember, we got to all keep learning together and tile the world.